So we will begin. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवाद हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So welcome to our Saturday Sunday morning series on the Sri Harinam Chintamani. Yesterday we began after having two sessions, one on life of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and how he came about to write Sri Harinam Chintamani and other books on the holy name. And we also went through the introduction. We began the actual book, Sri Harinam Chintamani, yesterday. We discussed 4 verses. And today we will continue further the discussion. We were on the 4th verse. In the first verse, we saw there is the invocation of prayers to Gadai Gauranga and Nityanand Prabhu, Janava Jivana, and then Advaita Acharya and Srivas and all the devotees. And the scene goes to, Nilachal, where Lord Jagannath is residing, and he gives liberation as well as happiness to all living entities. And in that Nilachal Dham, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in order to bless the human race, he has come to teach the marma, the pure dharma for Kali Yuga. How he has come to teach? With his own devotee, Nija Bhakta Vrindalaya. He has come, Nija Kalpataru Hoy, and he is the Kalpataru of Krishna Prem. And we discussed from Chaitanya Charitamrita yesterday, from the Adi Leela chapter 9, how this Kalpataru, the seed of Krishna Prem, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, first sowed it in Navdeep. From Navdeep, he brought it to Jagannath Puri. And from Jagannath Puri, later on, he brought it to Vrindavan. And he himself is the gardener of this, Bhakti Lata Beej. In the garden, the seed has to be sown first. And the roots are the eight sannyasis, beginning with Paramananda Puri. So the more one has strong roots, the more the tree will grow. The trunk itself is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the entire tree is also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there are two branches, two main branches, that is the Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya. And there are many other unlimited branches, and the fruits of Krishna Prem are to be, bestowed to all jivas. And this tree spreads over the entire world. So this is a metaphor, beautiful figurative metaphor explaining. So we went into a little detail of that yesterday. Now, how this conversation starts in the fifth verse, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining. एक दिन भगवान समुद्र करिया स्नान श्री सिद्ध बकुले हरिदासे मिली आनंदित मने जिज्ञासिला से यतने किसे जीव तरे अनायासे. One day, Ekadina, after bathing in the sea, Samudra Kariya Snan, Lord Chaitanya met Haridas, Bhagavan, Sri Siddha Bakule Haridas, where under the Siddha Bakul tree. Happy at heart, Mili Anandite Mane, he earnestly asked, Jigyasila se yatane. His inquiry was very earnest, very submissive. Kishe Jiva Tare Anayas. Anayas means easily. How will the conditioned souls be easily delivered? So this is the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how to deliver the conditioned souls. So as I was mentioning that we will be drawing some parallels from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So here in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the discussion between Haridas Thakur and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is Antalila chapter 3, which is there. The similar verses here. Ekadina Prabhu Haridasera Miliya Tahan Lan Goshti Kari Tahara Puchila. One day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Haridas Thakur as usual, and in the course of the discussion he inquired as follows. Haridase Kalikale Yavana Apar Go Brahmane Himsa Kare Mahadurachar. My dear Haridas Thakur, in this age of Kali, most people are bereft of Vedic knowledge and therefore they are called Yavanas. So Yavanas are not only those who eat meat. Yavanas are those who don't follow Vedic culture. Practically in entire India, no one follows the Vedic culture now. So the entire country and the entire world is filled with Yavanas. And what is this business of the Yavanas? They are concerned only with killing cows and Brahminical culture. Go Brahmane Himsa Kare Mahadurachar. In this way they engage they all engage in sinful activities. Iha sabar kona mate hoibe nistar tahar hetu na deki ei dukkapar. How will these Yavanas be delivered? To my great unhappiness, I do not see any way. Iha sabara kona mate hoibe nistar. How they will be delivered? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is thinking of delivering the most fallen souls, that is the Yavanas. And iha dukha apar. I am feeling great unhappiness. Tahar hetu na deki. I do not see how these people will be delivered. So this is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we are finding a similar reference here in the fifth verse of Harinam Chintamani. Now, Haridas Thakur, how he presents himself to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he presents his humility is very, 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 very instructive. So here now we can see how even while answering questions, we as devotees, those who are innocent, we should be humble. And here Haridas Thakur is being asked question by the Lord himself. So Haridas Thakur exhibits his humility in few verses. Let us see that. Prabhur charan dhari अनेक विनय करी गलदश्रु पुलक शरीर हरिदास महाशय कांदिते कांदिते कहे प्रभु तव लीला सुगंभीर. Weeping and weeping, Kandiya, Kandite, Kandite Kai, and the hair on his body erect. Galada Ashru Pulaka Sharir, and humbly grasping the Lord's feet. Prabhura Charandhari, Aneka Vinayakari. The name Vinay, many people have this name Vinay. What is the meaning of Vinay? Vinay means humility or gentleness, as Prabhupada says. Vidya Vinay Sampanne. So those who have genuine, true spiritual knowledge, that is devotional knowledge, what is the test? That they have this Vinayata, Vidya Vinay. So Vinaya Kari. Saintly Haridas Thakur said, O Master, Prabhu, your pastimes are very deep. Tava Leela Sugambir. Because although the Lord is, Sarvagya, he knows everything, but in order to extol the glories of his pure devotees, he allows his pure devotees to speak about the glories of Nama Tattva, Rasa Tattva, and Bhakti Tattva. As now he is doing from Haridas Thakur, he is going to hear the Nama Tattva. Ami ati akinchana nahi mora vidyadan tava pada amar sambala. Eheno ayogya jane prashna kari akarane bala prabhu hobe ki bafala. I am very poor. Ami ati akinchana. I have no wealth of knowledge. Nahi mora vidyadana. Your feet are my only wealth. Tava pada amara sambal. O Master, Prabhu, what is the use of asking such questions for this unfit person? Hena ayogyane prashna kari akarane. What is the benefit? Tumi Krishna Swayam Prabhu Jiva Uddharite Vibhu Navadip Dhame Avatar Kripa Kari Rangapai Rake Mora Gaura Rai Taba Chitta Prapul Amara. So this is the genuine mood of a Acharya, that before he gives answers, he first glorifies the Lord, expresses his genuine humility. Suta Goswami also does when the 6 questions of the Naimisharanya sages are put forth. First, he glorifies his spiritual master, Sukdev Goswami, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, 2 and 3 verses. And then he thanks the sages for asking such Krishna questions on the subject matter of Krishna. So here Haridas Thakur is glorifying, you are the Supreme Lord Krishna, to me Krishna Swayam Prabhu. To deliver the conditioned souls, Jiva Uddharite Vibhu, you have descended to Navdeep. Navdeep Dhame Avatar. Please be merciful, please be kind. Kripa Kari Rangapai. Rako Mora Gaura Rai. Oh Lord Gaura, please protect me. Raka means to protect. Raksha. Please make my heart blossom with happiness. Taba Chitta Prapul Amar. Tabe Chitta Prapul Amar. So when you do that, then my heart will be Prapul. It will be filled with happiness. So any questions in between while we are discussing these verses? These verses, Bengali is very simple and the translation is also very simple. So I'll just be reciting these verses one after other. And if you have any questions, you can immediately raise your hand and we can take up. And wherever, there is some philosophical point, there definitely I will present it in the form of the PPT. Tomara Nantanam Tavanant Gunagram Tavarupa Sukera Sagar Ananta Tumara Lila Kripa kari prakashila, Taye aswade e pamar. Your names have no end. Tomar anant naam. Krishna has unlimited names because he performs unlimited pastimes. Tava ananta gunagram. Your transcendental qualities have no end. Krishna has unlimited transcendental qualities, which there is no end. Tava Rupa Sukera Sagar. Your form is an ocean of bliss. Your pastimes have no end. Ananta Tumara Lila. Please be merciful and allow the sinner, a palmer, palmer means sinner, Kripakari Prakashila, to relish the sweetness in them. Tava Taya Aswade. So, although Krishna's names have unlimited potency, unlimited qualities Krishna has, and Krishna's uh, Rupa, the form, has unlimited happiness, we are not able to relish it because Krishna has not Prakashila, that he has not manifested. That is why the holy name, by chanting the holy name, we can slowly realize the unlimited glories of Nama Tattva, the unlimited glories of Guna, Krishna's qualities, and Nama, Rupa, and Guna, and then Leela. So all this slowly manifests. So here he is glorifying all these four aspects of Krishna: Nama, Rupa, Guna, and Leela. Now he goes to a Siddhanta to establish how the Lord is Vibhu and we are Anu. Chinmay Bhaskar Tumi Kiranera Kanami Tumi Prabhu Ami Nitya Dhasa Charana Piyusha Tava Mama Sukha Suvaibhava Tava Namamrite Mora Asha Chinmay Bhaskar Tumi. You are the spiritual sun. Kiranera Kana Ami. I am an insignificant ray. You are the master. Tumi Prabhu. Ami Nityadas. I am your eternal servant. So this is a very important philosophical point which Haridas Thakur is making here for the difference between Bhagavan, that is, the supreme consciousness, and bhakta, that is the individual consciousness. The supreme consciousness is like the sun, and the individual consciousness is like the sun ray or the sun molecule. And the supreme consciousness is the master, and the individual consciousness is the servant. So this is established here. The nectar of your feet is my wealth of pleasure. Charana Piyushatava Mama Sukha Suvaibhava. The nectar of your holy names is my only hope. Tava Namamrite Mora Ash. Ei mata adhamami ki bolite jani swami taba agya karibe palana. Ya bolibe mora muke tomare bolibe sukhe dosha guna na kari ganana. O Master, I am fallen. E mata adhamami. Like this, as he has expressed in these few verses, I am so fallen. How will I know what to say? Ki bolite jani swami. How will I know what to speak? Still, I must obey your command. Tava agya karibe palan. The words you place in my mouth, ya bolibe mora mukhe. I will happily speak. Tomara bolibe sukhe. Dosha gunan. I will not try to judge their virtues or faults. So, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramanand Rai about the Rasa Tattva, and Ramanand Rai also exhibited a similar humility. And he said, you are like the string player, and the string instrument plays according to how you manipulate the string. So I am like that string instrument. My mouth is that like string instrument. As you'll play, I will speak. So that is the mood here of Haridas Thakur also. Now he starts speaking. So this is the next section now we are discussing. Now the next section here you can see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquires and Haridas Thakur exhibits his humility. Now 12, 13 and 14, the truth of Krishna, Krishna Tattva. So he will now start speaking Krishna Tattva. Now these first three chapters, as I was mentioning, they, the Sambandha Gyan and the Tattva is given. So this Tattva, when we understand philosophically, in fact, in Harinam Chintamani, Sri Harinam Chintamani, there are no techniques actually given for chanting the holy name. There are no some special techniques given by which you can, chant like this and, attain Krishna prem. Actually, knowledge is given, Sambandha Gyan is given. And when with this Sambandha Gyan, with this knowledge we chant, automatically we'll attain the benefit of, attaining the mercy of the holy name and chanting the pure name. So now he starts speaking about Krishna Tattva. So this is the beauty of this book, especially because Bhaktivinoda Thakur systematically gives subtitles and systematically presents the subject. So it becomes very easy for us to understand. Ekamatra Ichamay Krishna Sarveshwara Nitya Shakti Yoge Krishna Vibhu Paratpara. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna Sarveshwara. There is no other. Ekamatra Ichamaya. His every desire is always fulfilled. Ichamaya. Just by his desiring, everything is fulfilled. Parasha Shaktir Vivide Shuyate. Swabhavika Jnana Bala Kriyacha. Swabhavika. Whatever the Lord desires, immediately by his potencies, Nija Shakti Yoge, as it is mentioned, he is the master of all potencies. So there are unlimited potencies of the Lord, and through these unlimited potencies, the Lord's desires are fulfilled. Krishna Vibhu Parat Para. He is greater than the greatest. So here is the footnote, and we will go through this footnote so that we can better understand the subject. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is supremely independent. This is the meaning of Ishwar. Ishwara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigna. Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. As he said, Swatantra. Janmadayasya Yaton Invaya Atarasta Charteshu Abhigya Swarat. Swarat means he's completely independent. His desires are always fulfilled. He's Aptakam. He's self-satisfied and his desires also fulfilled. He possesses inconceivable potencies. Now, Lord Krishna is called as potent and he possesses potencies. Now, if we want to understand the potent, we should understand how the potencies work. So now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to, in few verses, explain the different potencies of the Lord. Potencies are non-different from the potent. And we understand the potencies, we can understand the potent, that is Krishna. So this is the way the flow of the verses will go. He is supremely conscious, abhigya. He possesses potencies. Nothing is independent of him. His potencies are his glories and powers. So when we understand the potencies of Krishna, how potent he is, that just by his amsha and amsha, he manifests this unlimited universes. What kind of a potency he must be having, So we more understand his glories and his powers. His powers and glories are limitless, that is unlimited. Lord Krishna is one non-dual supreme truth. Advaya. Vadanti tat tattvavidas. Tattvam yad jnana advayam. He is non-dual supreme. What is this Advaya? Advaya means he is one, but he is manifested as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. That one absolute truth is manifested in these three features. So this is also when we understand the absolute truth in these three features, then we can understand who is Krishna. So, first, he expresses the impersonalists see Krishna as the undivided, qualityless Brahman. So, this is the first realization of the absolute truth. The truth is that the Brahman is the effulgence of Lord Krishna's body. Brahmano Pratishta Aham, 14.27 in the Bhagavad Gita. The followers of Ashtanga Yoga see Krishna as the all pervading, subtle supersoul present everywhere in the universes and in the hearts of all. So these are the Paramatmavadis who see the absolute truth as Paramatma. Brahman, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, iti, Bhagavan iti Shabhyate. In truth, Lord Krishna does manifest himself as an Amsha avatar, as a super soul. So the super soul is a manifestation of Krishna. Therefore, Brahman and Paramatma are both partial manifestations of Lord Krishna. Therefore, Krishna has all desires and all powers. He is fully conscious of everything. He is the independent, supreme person. So the absolute truth is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. How to understand this? Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself gives a very simple example. Sometimes when we have myopic vision, you know what is myopic vision, especially those who wear specs. So we cannot see far off things. So one who has myopic vision, when he comes in front of the deities, the deities, like Radha Sham Sundar, and they are beautiful deities, Radha and Krishna, because of myopic vision, he can't see the deities. He just sees one glare, thing which is in front of him. He cannot see the full beautiful features of Radha and Krishna. How beautiful are Krishna's eyes, Krishna's hair, Krishna's garlands. Why is this? Because he has a myopic vision. Because he has this myopic vision, that is why he is not able to see the beautiful form of Krishna. But when he wears the specs, he's not having the 6 by 6 vision. Maybe he's having a lesser vision. Somebody who has, 10 number, -10, even if he tries to see, he cannot see clearly. But when he wears the specs, especially a huge specs, even with that, he is able to see only a few features of the Lord. He's not able to see all the features of the Lord. But further, when he wears a powerful lens, he can see the beautiful, form of Sham Sundar. How beautiful all his features. So similarly, the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead, Sham Sundar Krishna. But those, who are having myopic vision, they only see the absolute truth as one light, the effulgence, the Brahma Jyoti. Further, when they go nearer to the absolute truth, then they can see that he has some features. He's a conscious being. Oh, there is a personality. So that is the Paramatma feature. And further, there is the Bhagavan feature. So that is how we can understand these three levels of the absolute truth. Now, Krishna is established as the absolute truth and Krishna possesses potencies. Now, we will start discussing about the potencies. Lord Krishna and his potencies. Krishna Shakti Krishna Haite Na Hoye Swatantra A Shakti Se Krishna Kahe Veda Mantra. The potencies are never independent of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is identical with his potencies. This the Vedic mantras say. So as I was mentioning, there is, uh, the potencies are they are not independent of the potent. And the example in the Vedic mantras is given of fire and heat and light. Now, fire is compared to the potency, and heat and light are the potencies of fire. The fire is potent and potencies. So the absolute truth is compared to fire, and heat and light are compared to the potencies of the absolute truth. So, in one sense, heat and light are non-different from fire. They are non-different. That is why they are not, and heat and light have no independent existence beyond fire. So that is the point here from this Vedic mantra, which I gave you example. This is from the Vishnu Puran, where the absolute truth is compared to fire and heat and light to his potencies. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is establishing. Now, Krishna Vibhu Shakti Tandra Vaibhava Swarupa Ananta Vaibhave Krishna Hoya Ekarupa. Krishna is all powerful. Krishna Vibhu, his potencies are his powers and glories. Shakti Tandra Vaibhav. Vaibhav means his powers. Sometimes Tata and Birla, if he happens to a friend and he takes a ride to his company, and you know he takes a tour to his company and he shows his company. There are different. In fact, if you want to travel inside the factory, maybe you need a car because it must be kilometers together. Once I happened to meet a very well-known businessman in at least in this world here in India, and so he's abroad also well known. I don't want to take his name, but he has a diamond company in South Africa. So in his house, he had only BMWs, and not one, two. In fact, he had hundreds of BMWs, and all his guests who come to visit him, they are escorted in this BMW. So that is his power. So we also get astonished. Vaibhav, this is called as Vaibhav. Shakti Tandra Vaibhav Sarup. So his potencies are his powers and glories. Lord Krishna is one person, Ekarup. His powers and glories have no end. So that one Krishna unlimitedly expands through his unlimited potencies. So that is the point here he is making, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So he expands into unlimited potencies. Now, what are those potencies? Now he starts speaking here in the next verse. So here is the next, division, that is verses 15 and 16. Three kinds of potencies. Trivida Vaibhav. So the three kinds of potencies, now he starts speaking. So he has unlimited potencies, and now there are three kinds of these potencies. Now we should remember that although there are unlimited potencies, there are principal three divisions of these potencies. So now he speaks. Shaktira Prakasha Aise Ta Vaibhava Vibhura Vaibhava Matra Aya Anubhava. His potencies manifest his glories and powers. Shaktir Prakashe say, ye say ta Vaibhav. This Vaibhav, what he has, the powers, they are being manifested by his potencies. Those powers and glories enable us to see him. We want to see him, we have to see those powers and glories exhibited by his potencies. Now, here is a footnote. And let us first go to the footnote and then I will take you to the slides. Lord Krishna's powers and glories are of three kinds: spirit, matter, or his Maya potency, and the individual spirit souls. So we are all aware with this Siddhanta. There is the Antaranga Shakti, the Bhairanga Shakti, or the Maya Shakti, and the Jiva Shakti. So this also in the philosophical terminologies, it is called as Chit, Achit, and Jiva Shakti. The three Shaktis which are called Vibhava Trivada, Tava Gauranga Sundara, Chit, Achit, Jiva Tina, Shastrera Gochara. Lord Chaitanya has three kinds of powers and glories. Now directly you can see Chaitanya Bhaktivinoda Thakur was speaking about Lord Krishna here, and now he's saying Lord Chaitanya, because Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya are non-different. They are spirit, matter, and the individual soul. Spirit is called as Chit, Chit Vaibhav. Achit is matter, and Jiva is Jiva Vaibhav. This the scriptures say. This is what the scriptures proclaim. So now let us go to the slides here and let us try to understand. Here the philosophical discussion begins a little bit, and let us try to understand. So Ishwar or Krishna or Lord Chaitanya, he has these three kinds of potencies: the Achit Shakti, the Jiva Shakti, and the Chitta Shakti. This is sometimes called as uh, the Bhairanga Shakti, and this is called as the Tatashta Shakti, and this is called as the Antaranga Shakti. In English, Srila Prabhupada says this is the internal potency, this is the external potency, and this is the marginal potency. So there are unlimited potencies of the Lord, but they have been classified into these three, and within these three, there are unlimited subheadings, and there is no end to it, in fact. So we have not even having, you know, we have only some glimpse of all these unlimited subdivisions which are there in Krishna's, these different subheadings of these potencies. We will look into some now. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to look into some very few potencies which are there within, especially the Chitta Shakti. He is going to look into it. So this Achitta Shakti, the material energy of the Bhairanga Shakti, Krishna speaks, by which the material world is manifest. Bhumi Rapo Analo Vayu Kham Manor Buddhirevacha Ahankariti Amme Bhinna Prakriti Ashtada. So this 24 elements by which this material world is manifest is spoken. That is the Bhairanga Shakti. The Jiva Shakti, is the superior energy of the Lord, which is now caught up in matter. It is entangled in matter. Hmm? Jivabhuta Mahabhavo Yedam Dharite Jagat. Because it wants to enjoy matters separately, independently from Krishna, but the more it tries to enjoy, the more it gets entangled. That is the Jiva Shakti. And the spiritual world is the Chitta Shakti. Of course, in Bhagavad Gita, it is not discussed much, but there is discussion in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I quoted only one verse where, the spiritual world is described. Na tad bhasate suryo, na shashanko, na pavaka. Yad gatva na nivartante, tad dhama paramam mama. So that is the spiritual world or the Chit Vaibhav. Now the Jiva Shakti is the marginal potency of the Lord, which is also called as the Tatastha Shakti. Now Tatastha means Tat. Tat means it is situated on the bank. So the Jiva has the independence. It can be in the material world or it can be in the spiritual world. It cannot be situated here in the marginal potency itself. It can either be here in the material world or in the spiritual world. So, Prabhupada gave an example of walking on the, beach. There is sand in the beach. And while you're walking on the beach, it is like you're in the material energy. But when the ocean water comes, then you're walking, but now you're walking, in the ocean water. So now you're like in the Chit Shakti or in the spiritual, energy. So this is how the Jiva is situated on the Tat. Tat means also bank. So we are now in the material world and we have realized that I'm a, spirit soul. I'm consciousness. And my home is the spiritual world, which is also fully conscious, world, the Chitta Shakti. So I belong to this world. So the Jiva is now who is conditioned in this material world by practice of spiritual life, sadhana. He is trying to move into the spiritual energy. So we are experiencing this in our sadhana. We are in the material world, but when we come to the temple, chant the holy names, we feel we are, becoming Krishna conscious. But then when we go in the outside world, Maya attacks us and we become, materially absorbed. So we become materially, conscious about things. So like this, now we are, having this battle within us. So slowly, how we can, spiritualize our consciousness and move to the spiritual world is the whole discussion here. Now, I will again go into some more slides because in the previous verse, Vaibhava Trivida, it was mentioned. So Sri Krishna has this Chitta Shakti. I am going now into the Chitta Shakti. There is the Chitta Shakti, that is the spiritual energy. So Krishna has this Chitta Shakti, and from the Chitta Shakti, there are these divisions, the Vibhava, Prabhava, and Anubhava. Now, these are all spiritual terminologies, and these terminologies have different meaning. But I will not go into these meanings because all this discussion is there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and other scriptures, but that is not of relevance for us. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur used the word Vibhav. So within Vibhav, there is the Chitta Shakti, Jiva Shakti, and the Maya Shakti. So this is, what Bhaktivinoda Thakur said. So again, I'll show you the verse. Please look at verse 16. Vibhava Trivida Tava Gauranga Sundar Chit Achit Jiv Teen Shastrera Gochar. So this is exactly here, we are discussing Vibhava Trivida Tava Gaura Sundar Chit Achit and Jiva Tina Shastrera Gochar. So this comes in the Swarup Chit Shakti. Within the Vibhav are these three energies. Then the Prabhava is, Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. This is also discussed in the second canto and the third canto of the Bhagavatam. Krishna has unlimited potencies, which I was explaining, within the Chit Shakti also. The Anubhava is the Sandhini, Samvit, and the Ladini Shakti. So this is how the divisions are. And we will not go more into these, Prabhava, but Anubhav we will go into it because next verse, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to speak about it. In the next verses, he is going to speak about it. Sorry. He's going to speak in the next few verses. That time we will more discuss this. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks about the Chid Vibhava, the Chid Vibhava, the spiritual energy. The spiritual energy. What is the spiritual energy? As I mentioned in the PowerPoint, sorry. As I mentioned in the PowerPoint, that the Chid Vibhava is being discussed now. The Chid Vibhava, oh, 1 second, just lost the. One second. So there are some. This first question here. Can we have the slides? Okay, the slides will be sent by email. What about time? Is it Chit or Achit? Okay, this Bhaktivinoda Thakur will answer in the next few verses. So kindly hold on, be patient. In the next few verses, it will come up. It will come up. So we will go into that. But let us now first go to this Chit Vibhav, which we are discussing. So we explained. Sorry, I'll share the screen. Otherwise, only the slide will get shared. So now, 17 to 21, he speaks about the Chit Vibhav, his spiritual powers. Firstly, he has told there are three potencies, Trivida, and now he's speaking about the Chit Vibhav. Let us go to Chit Vibhav now. Chit Vibhav. This is from 17 to 23. Ananta Vaikuntadi Yata Krishna Dham Govinda Shri Krishna Hari Adi Yatanam. The limitless realms that begin with Vaikunta are Lord Krishna's abodes. The names that begin with Govinda, Shri Krishna, and Hari are his names. So from the Chit Vibhava, Chitta Shakti, the spiritual world the spiritual energy or the spiritual world is Vaikunta and especially Golok. Krishna's names also belong to the Chit Vibhava, Chit Shakti. And the names he is saying here are Govinda, Krishna, and Hari. So these are the principal names he is taking now. Now, Dvibhuja Murlidhara Adiyat Rupa Bhaktananda Prada Adi Guna Aparupa. His forms begin with the two-armed form where he plays the flute. Dvibhuja Murlidhar. So his forms begin. The original form of Godhead is the Sham Sundar Roop, the two-handed form. And from him expand the Vaikuntha Narayan forms, which are the four-handed. So the original form is Dvibhuj. His wonderful qualities begin with his quality of giving bliss to his devotees. So Krishna has unlimited qualities. And Bhaktananda Prada Adi Guna Arup. Aparup. Aparup means, it is astonishing, it is wonderful that Krishna's only business for his devotees who are in the material world or in the spiritual world is to give them happiness, to give them bliss. So that is, Krishna's wonderful quality. Vraje Rasa Leela, Navdeepe Sankirtana, Eirupa Krishna Leela, Vichitra Ganana. In Vraja, he enjoys the pastime of Rasa dance. So how does he give bliss to his devotees? By performing the Rasa dance. In Navdeep, he enjoys the pastime of Sankirtan. So how does he give bliss to his devotees in Mahaprabhu's incarnation? By doing the Sankirtan. That is why we see devotees when they go out on Sankirtan or when they do Kirtan, especially dancing, devotees experience a lot of happiness. But Japa is always austerity to focus the mind and, hear the holy name. But Kirtan, dancing Kirtan is always blissful. Lord Krishna's wonderful pastimes are like these. Leela Vichitra Ganan. এই সমস্ত চিদ বৈভব অপ্রাকৃত হয় আসিয়া ওই এ প্রাপঞ্চিক প্রাপঞ্চে প্রাপঞ্চিক নয়. All of his spiritual powers and glories are not material. Aprakrit hoy, they're completely, prakrit means material, aprakrit means they're completely spiritual. Even though they have been manifested within the material world, Asiya Oi E Prapanche, they have come in this world, they are not themselves material. Prapanchikanai. So Krishna's spiritual abode is manifested in this material world in the form of Vrindavan, Navadvip, Jagannath Puri. Although they are here in this material world, they seem material, but they are not material. They are not prapanchika. They are completely aprakat. They are completely spiritual. Not only Krishna's abodes which are here in this material world, even Krishna's name, like Govinda, Damodara, Hari. So Krishna's names are also, although they are, here also recited in this material world, but these names are not material. They are completely spiritual. So now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is establishing systematically the Siddhanta, because ultimately we have to take the name. Firstly, we have to understand that this name is a prakrit. It is completely spiritual. It is not material. So here in the footnote, there are some points, very important points mentioned. Let us go to the footnote. Lord Krishna's spiritual powers and glories are counted among his spiritual potencies. Chit Shakti. Lord Krishna's spiritual potency is his superior potency. Parashakti it is. His perfect spiritual potency manifests his spiritual powers and glories. From Lord Krishna's spiritual potencies are manifest his spiritual abodes, spiritual holy names, spiritual forms, and multitude of spiritual pastimes. Dhama, Nama, Rupa, and Leela. These are his spiritual powers and glories. So these all four types are his glories. From his spiritual Sandhini potency is manifest the eternal spiritual existence. From his Samvit potency is manifest the spiritual knowledge. From his Ladini potency is manifest spiritual bliss. Relationships and rasa are manifest from these. Yogamaya is counted among these spiritual potencies. Yogamaya is beyond material place, time, and qualities. It is always pure and blissful. So this is the answer to, what about time? The time is, a spiritual potency of Yogamaya by which, Yogamaya, arranged Krishna's last Leela, and it was one night Krishna performed, but actually he performed it for the entire night of Brahma. That means 1000 Chaturyugas. So this is the potency of Yogamaya potency of Maya, Yogamaya potency by which time expands in the spiritual world and it is always present. It is always in the Vartaman Kala. Similarly, when we are in distress, we can experience, oh, time is not moving ahead, we feel. Or when we are in happiness, time has soon passed away. So time is a, experience. And based on the consciousness we are in this material world, if we are in Tamagun, the time doesn't pass. Time is passing slowly, we feel. If we are in Satgun in happiness, the time uh, has immediately passed, we feel. So it is an experience. So that is the perverted, effect of time in the material world through the Kala Shakti. But originally, the time is a Chit Shakti of the Lord. So here, there are these three potencies which are mentioned. So let us go to the slides and try to understand these three potencies which we were discussing. So first we had discussed this Chit Shakti. There are three Vaibhavs, Chit, Achit and Jeev. Now, with respect to this 20th verse, that there is the spiritual Shakti, Chit Shakti, there is the Vaibhav, Prabhav, and within this is Chit, Jiva, and Maya Shakti, Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini. So this was mentioned in the footnotes. So let us go more now into these details of Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini. So here you can see in the slides, Chitta Shakti, Jiva Shakti, and Maya Shakti. Now Sandhini Shakti was mentioned in the footnotes, maintains our spiritual existence, by which the spiritual world, Krishna's forms, names, qualities are manifest. The entire spiritual world is a manifestation of his Sandhini potency. In fact, it is the potency of Balram. Balram manifests the spiritual world. And in fact, Balram in his form as Sankarshan expanding into Mahavishnu also manifests the material worlds. So that is also the Sandhini potency of the Lord. So 1/3 is the spiritual world and 1/4, sorry, 3/4 is the spiritual world and 1/4 is the material world. So all this is the manifestation of the Sandhini potency. The Jiva spiritual existence, his name, place also appear because of the Sandhini potency. The Maya potency manifest from the Sandhini, the material world, material names, forms, qualities, and actions. The material world is Sandhini with the combination of this Maya Shakti. So this material world is called as Brahmanda. There are forms in this material world. Tree has a form, we have forms, and material elements have qualities and they have actions. Water has the quality of being liquid, and that's why it has an action of flowing. So this is all the manifestation of the Sandhini within the Chit, Jiva, and the Maya potencies. The Samvit potency exhibits the spiritual moods. Now, in the beginning of sadhana bhakti, we hear about Krishna. We hear Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So we come in touch with the jiva gets knowledge about Lord. And the jiva can experience the bliss of samadhi from dhyan and gyan yoga also through the samvit potency. And from the Maya, when that same knowledge is perverted, we being in Maya, we are always in worries, hopes, speculations, and thoughts of conditioned jiva. This is how kunta. Kunta means always in anxiety. So the samvit in the Maya realm produces kunta, and the samvit in the spiritual realm produces, Vaikunta. Vaikunta means there is no, you know, anxiety, but there is a different spiritual mood to serve Krishna. So that knowledge comes from the Samvit potency. The Ladini potency in the spiritual world expands prema, love for the Lord. And the Jiva experiences spiritual bliss in Bhakti Yoga. So I was explaining the Jiva, when he comes in touch with Bhakti, he comes in touch with the Samvit potency. And he attains knowledge about the Lord, knowledge about who am I am spirit soul, who is Lord, the Lord is Bhagwan, he is supreme consciousness. And I have a relationship with the Lord. I am Bhakta, he is Bhagwan, and my relationship is of Bhakti. So slowly he starts practicing Bhakti, and slowly the more he attains knowledge, more he comes with the Samvit Gyan about the Lord, the more he starts experiencing spiritual bliss in Bhakti. So the Jiva experiences spiritual bliss in Bhakti Yoga. And this Ladini in the Maya Shakti, the gross material bliss and the subtle material bliss of Swarga arises. Jad, Sukh. Jad Sukh is the gross material happiness, and Sukshma, the subtle happiness, is exhibited in the Swarga, or in even in this world, heavenly, pleasures, heavenly delights. So this is about these three potencies, which in the footnote were mentioned. And although this is a very lofty subject, because we are not able to, within the three modes, the goodness, passion, and ignorance, how these modes are functioning, we are not able to understand. But we should study these modes, the three modes which are there in the realm of Maya. But there are these three, Prabhupada mentions spiritual modes, the Sandhini, Samvit, and the Ladini. And Samvit and Ladini Shakti, they give pleasure to the devotee. In fact, the more one attains knowledge about the Lord, the more, he starts deriving spiritual bliss in that knowledge. Nahi jnanina sadisham pavitram iha vidyate. In the Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, it is said, or 5th chapter, I think, uh, he experiences that there is nothing so pure as this knowledge, and he experiences happiness. So the more we hear Krishna Lila, especially Krishna's pastimes in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, especially when we hear pastimes spoken by sannyasis, how much happiness we derive in the yatras. When we hear the yatra kathas, we experience a joy and bliss. So the more knowledge we hear about Krishna, the Ladini expands. And slowly, as we advance in spiritual life and cross Nishta, Asakti, Ruchi, the Ladini keeps on increasing in higher and higher degrees. And ultimately, the Samvit and the Ladini Shakti combine together and form what is called as the Bhakti Shakti, which Bhaktivinoda Thakur will explain in the future verses. And that is called as Bhava. That is called as Bhav. And in Bhava, our spiritual mood is exhibited. In what mood we are serving Krishna, whether it is Dasya, Satya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya. And in that mood, our prema expands. If we are a Saka of Krishna, our prema, love for Krishna, in Satya Ras expands. So all this just a glimpse I am explaining here, although these are very lofty subjects. So we have finished discussing 20 verses now. There are around 80 verses in this first chapter, but we are going systematically verse after verse, reciting the verse, reciting the translation, the meaning of Bengali, and we are looking into some concepts. So like this, we will systematically discuss these verses of Sri Harinam Chintamani and try to understand the subject. So any questions regarding what we discussed till now? We have few more minutes. Any questions? Among all the devotees who are participating, just want to know whether this discussion of Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini, and this Chit, Achit, and Jiva Shakti, and these divisions, Vibhava, Prabhav, and Anubhav. Did you find it difficult? You can send me a message in the chat box. Were you able to follow a little bit, a little glimpse or little understanding you could get? So, so we will continue to discuss like this only, and please be patient. These first three chapters, a lot of Sambandha Gyan is given. And this tattva is very important for us to understand. And with this Sambandha Gyan tattva, when we uh, understand and then take up to the chanting of the holy name, with this knowledge we practice chanting the holy name, it will have a very deep impact. So kindly be patient, and first three chapters after that, the explanations are very, very simple and very easy to follow. Okay, so thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Shri Harinam Chintamani ki jai. Hare Krishna.